Jim, what do we sell?
We sell security for people in some of their worst times when they're grieving.
So we sell security. Sandra, what else do we sell?
Protection, peace of mind.
Peace of mind. Okay. What else do we sell? There's other things. There's more than that. We sell Dave. You ready with the Trailblazer
Financial
stack?
stability,
Financial
financial stability.
stability. Molly, what else do we
Sell
sell?
home when you're not able to pay the mortgage by yourself.
The first part you cut out, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. We sell being able to keep your home when you can't pay the mortgage.
Okay. Okay, Kelly, I know you want to say something there. By the way, you look like a scratch golfer this morning, my friend.
We
What do
sell
you
money.
we sell? Yeah, we sell money, we sell peace of mind, we sell well, there's one that starts with a T that we're completely forgetting. We
Time.
sell time is one. It's tax free, right? Tax advantaged. Okay. So we sell all these different things. We don't sell insurance, right?
Generational wealth.
Generational wealth. So if you guys hear us sit, and I'm pretty sure Nick, I know you're the same way on this, and then you'll hear Augusta the same way. Any of the top guys you'll see in the group, someone will be, well, are you here to sell me insurance? I actually don't answer that question. I don't go, no, I don't go, yeah, I'm here to sell you insurance. I go, no, I'm here to make sure your mortgage is covered in the event of death or sickness. It's all based on need. What do you have in place? And I question them because I'm not there to sell. I don't sell people anything. I transfer belief. If it's either they need it or they don't. They need it or they don't. And if they've got a plan in place, then great, that's awesome. But if they don't, then that's where we come in. But here's the thing, reframing what we sell. Like if anyone asks, like what you sell, yeah, I sell life insurance. They don't need to hear us go on this whole tangent of, well, we sell the ability to make sure their kids have $1 million. Like no one cares that much. But when we're thinking about in our world and we're trying to reframe it to the client, right? When we're painting the picture, they need to understand we're selling or we're transferring the belief that what does it look like, that timeline, the day you die, Miss Mary, what does it look like for your family? What's the plan? Get them to really understand that. Okay. Last night I had a sit. Who here listened to that one? Who here listened to that one last night? I think Jim was on. Sandra. They were very defensive at first. You're just here to sell me life insurance. I've said, well, no, it's just here
Oh
to make
yeah.
you're here to make sure you got something that covers that mortgage in the event of death or sickness. And then I started asking, well, out of the two of you, who's the main breadwinner? Oh, it's me. I'm the main breadwinner. By the way, he was in the military, so anyone who said, oh, well, they've got the SBLI or VGLI, actually, a lot of the guys who understand the VGLI understand it's a sham. Um, Eventually, I started asking him, well, what do you have for coverage? Well, I was quoted this much through USAA. I was able to beat the coverage by a ton. Get him $1.5 million. The mortgage is 600,000. I said I can cover everything. It covers all this, that, and the other thing. However, we got to the point where he's like, yeah, like no, if I die, like I don't want just the mortgage covered. Like I want to make sure my wife's like my salary is taken care of, that my wife's taken care of, that my kids are taken care of. So it wasn't the insurance that he bought. It was what the insurance does, right? We get paid in the amount of problems we solve. You are not a salesperson, you're a professional problem solver, which makes you a professional question asker to see what their problem is and solve said problem. Okay? That all makes sense? So the
Yes.
next question, we're going to go over a little bit called something called framing. When you're framing the question, right? And slowing down in the framing process. Does anyone ever understand what framing means? Nick, you've read the book a little bit. You want to kind of explain it? I think you might be able to do a good job with
Um, I mean, framing to me means like, I would say like frame them with a problem. Like, like what's the thing we're trying to do, or what's the thing yeah, frame them with a problem. Like, is it the mortgage, or is it you don't have any money for the final expenses? Like, That's what framing means to me.
Exactly. So let's practice a couple different scenarios of what that looks like, what framing looks like from anywhere. I'll show you a final expense framing. I'll show you a mortgage protection. I'll show you a veteran framing. I'll show you, we can even go into IULs. Okay. But the big three are final expense, veterans, and mortgage protection. So if I'm someone, I get on a final expense call, I'll say, Miss Betty, today we're gonna go over, make sure that you got the final expense coverage that you're looking for. Now, most people when I talk to them, uh, they haven't gotten anything set up to make sure their kids are taken care of and the final expenses are taken care of. I'm guessing that's true for you as well. You frame them. They're now agreeing to, well, yeah, that is true for me. Okay, let's do a veteran. Hey, Mr. Joe, again, appreciate your service. Today, we're going to go over what it looks like to make sure that you and your family are taken care of when you die or get really sick. Now, most of the time I talk to veterans, they put in for this information because they actually haven't gotten anything set up for when they die or to cover any debts. I'm assuming, or correct me if I'm wrong, is that true for you as well? Notice how the verbiage isn't that much different. But what you're doing is you're using social proof. You're taking, hey, we're going to go over do this today. This is what it's going to do. We're going to make sure we do this. Other people in your situation who are like within your demographic call me all the time, and they're in that same situation. That's true for you, right? Guess what? If they're on the phone, it's probably true for them, right? Now, if they're like, well, no, that's not true for me. I'm just wondering that, obviously you've gotten this thing. We're on the call. I guess what made you look into this? Because if that's not true, what is it that you're looking for? And then they're gonna tell you the problem. Okay. Again, open-ended questions. If you frame them correctly, I've been reading about this. Nick sent me a fantastic sales book, and this guy does a great job explaining. But if you frame them correctly in that, you set yourself up to be proactive rather than reactive within the call, and it's going to make it a lot easier because now they're in a you put them in a buying situation, right? They're in a buying mood. It's like, yeah, no, this is a problem I have. Okay, great. Now we're going to figure out how to solve said problem. We've admitted there's a problem, right? First step in solving a problem is what? Admitting there is one. Okay. Now let's go to mortgage protection. Joe, most of the time when I get on the call with someone who just got a mortgage, whether it be a first time home buyer, or it's their fifth home they bought, they've not actually gone over something that would cover the mortgage in the event of death or sickness. I'm assuming that's true for you as well, right? You framed it. Does everyone kind of see what that does there? They've admitted there's a problem. You're getting them to admit it very early on in the sales call, right? And then now that you understand you're not selling life insurance, you're selling, like Kelly said, you're selling time, you're selling making sure there's something tax-free, you're selling a legacy, you're making sure their debt's paid, you're making sure that their kids are taken care of, that the educations are taken care of, right? But they've understand there's a problem. Now it's your job as the salesperson to paint that picture. Okay? Joe, what does it look like then? Obviously you said that you don't have anything set up. Right now, I guess if something were to happen, what does it look like for your wife and your kids? Can you kind of explain that to me? Oh, well, not great. By the way, if someone says to you not great and they don't end that sales call with you getting their routing and accounting number and signing on the dotted line, like what are we doing? Like if they say there's something wrong, let come on. We gotta make sure we're solving the problem, okay? Now they might say, "Well, I've got retirement." Does everyone now this is where all the previous sales training, right, comes into to work here, right? So you've got the let's say if they've got a 401k. What do you say there? Jim.
But you definitely want to mention, the tax advantages to getting life insurance set up versus 401k being tax deferred.
Exactly. Yep. Okay. Now what if they say, "Well, I've got life insurance through work."
If you leave your job, that policy doesn't come with you.
Exactly. Yep. Molly, let's say they say, well, I'll just sell the home.
Well, how long is it going to take for you to sell the home? Most closing can take anywhere from 90 days to 60 to 6 months. And with the market right now, you're looking at the higher end on that.
Okay. And then that's which is great. The easiest way to say it is it's 90 days to foreclose, 6 months to close. Or 6 months to close, 90 days to foreclose, right?
Yeah.
So you're just painting the picture there. So you framed it, you painted the picture, and now it's the finding the solution. Okay. Now I want us to kind of role play this a little bit. Sandra, let's role play the beginning of your script that you've got for final expense, but I want you to practice the framing we just taught you.
Mm-hmm. Um,
I'll be Betty.
okay, so
I'll be
you
Miss
what?
Betty. I'll be Miss Betty. I'm 82 years old.
Okay. You want me to use the script? I
Yeah, but I want you to change it a little bit because I want you to use the framing I taught you.
I
Otherwise,
already did.
okay, let's get it. Let's hear it.
Typing away. Okay. Um, Hi, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Awesome. So before we go any further, I just want you to relax for a second. This isn't a pressure call. My job is to simply make sure you understand how these final expense policies work and what they're going to do for your family and whether one is actually going to fit what you're looking for. So most people I talk to haven't gotten something in place to make sure their family doesn't have to struggle when they die. Is that true for you too?
Yeah, that's true for me.
Okay,
Perfect.
so
Hold up. I would
oh,
say one thing that
mm,
instead of saying the word pressure, you're immediately gonna them to think of the word pressure. You've now brought something in the back of their mind to the front of their mind. I want you to change. This is just simply a conversation to make sure you've got something. Like just change the wording there. It's the same meaning, but now you're taking the word like it's kind of like how I tell you guys never say the word social security, just say social. You because now they're gonna be looking for pressure. It becomes a front line.
gotcha. That's about the only thing I grabbed from Rob was this is not a pressure call. Okay, I
Yeah, I
changed
mean,
it.
and I love Rob, but
Conversation.
I just did I mean, great guy, but the he said the same thing to me, and then it became a very high pressure call, and I'm like, yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
an
Well,
older sales
so
style. I'm trying to teach you the new stuff.
oh, okay. Oh, I changed it.
Okay, try
And
again,
then
because
if I
everything else was great.
okay. Hi, Ring Ring. I'm Sandra. Blah blah blah. Okay, awesome. So before we go any further, I just want you to relax for a second. This is just a conversation. My job is simply to make sure you understand how these final expense policies work, what they do for you, and whether one actually fits what you're looking for. And most people I talk to haven't gotten anything in place to make sure their family doesn't have to struggle when they die. Is that true for you too?
Yes, yep, that is true.
This is probably where you're going to tell me to switch things up because from there it says so I just want you to ask as many questions as you need. If we find a policy that makes sense and helps you, great, we'll move forward. If it doesn't, that's completely
So stop,
fine
stop,
too.
stop. You're set now. You've framed it that they can ask you questions, but you're the question asker. Because like you're asking questions to get them to get them to where you want it to go. Like now you're letting them like dictate the conversation. So I'm gonna ask you a bunch of questions, and then from there we'll figure out what makes sense for you.
Do you want me to take that out then?
Reword it. You're asking questions, not
Um,
them. You're the professional. It's kind of like going to the doctor. The doctor should be asking you questions. You shouldn't be like, "So doc, I'm thinking that I'm gonna change my statin this week. What do you think?" Like they should be, they should be based on your blood work and your current health profile. Okay.
I'm gonna take that out because later on in the script it does say I'm just gonna ask you some questions then.
Yeah, just take that
So
out.
I'll just take it out and it just says like that's just to lay the framework of like, hey, we're gonna have a conversation, but the intent is at the end, if this works, we're gonna get this done, right?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
um, and then I give my credentials.
We don't have to go through the whole
Okay,
script.
so
You don't.
then from there is where I build the need. And it says, so let me start
Okay.
here. What is it that made you look into final expense in the first place?
Okay, we don't have to keep going, and I just wanted you to
Okay,
practice the framing. Either way, good stuff.
okay.
Good stuff. We changed a couple things on there. Jim, I want you to practice the beginning, the framing of a sales call.
Hey, can I, before he does that, can I say something on that yes or no question? I'll just be honest, like I'm actually a little confused whether to say yes or no to the actual question. Did anybody else like, or is it just me? It just seems like a kind of a confusing yes or no question.
Which one?
Like at the beginning, like the social proof.
I
Like
don't know.
most
Oh,
people,
most people I talk to don't have anything in place to protect them, yada yada. Is that true for you too?
I don't see how that's confusing personally,
it
but
just, okay, maybe it's just me.
I don't know. That's what he said. That's what I typed. I don't know.
I mean that's the way that they're training it nowadays. I'm literally just taking it off of like he literally says that verbatim. He just
No,
says
no,
that.
no. I know that. I guess, is that true for you? Like, what could it be like? You say the social proof, and then it's like, do you have it? Like, so most people don't right now. Do you have anything in place? I guess it just seems. I don't know. I just it sounded confusing to me. So I just
No,
maybe I'm the only one.
because do you have anything in place? Like they could say yes. It kind of like it basically diffuses the whole framing by saying it and to say, is that true for you? Like you, it like now it's connected more closely to that. It's
Okay.
it's it's it's
No, it's fine. No, it's fine. I just I
to
if
be
I
perfectly
was
honest,
confused with the wording,
to
so
be
I just wanted
perfectly
to make sure I
honest,
wasn't the only
it
one.
is supposed to be a little bit like it is supposed to be a little bit like what the hell did I just hear? So you can open questions. Like it's no different than like are you opposed to versus like are you against? It's the
Hmm.
same thing. It's like a play on words to move forward in the conversation.
I
Gotcha.
know on some of the Kaboom resources I looked through, their segue there is something, something to the effect of, often people begin thinking about final expense coverage after a health scare or the passing of a loved one. So can you share what's been on your mind that made you think about some final expense coverage?
It's the same thing. That's that right there is a frame. You're framing them. Yep, exactly. Dave, Jim, I'll let that count for you, buddy. That was good. Uh, Dave, can you frame it? Give me a framing. Are you doing what type of leads is he working? Uh,
That leads.
vet leads. All right, frame. I want you to do a framing of a vet lead.
Okay. So I think that, as you were talking, I kind of realized in the script that I use that there's an area where we kind of frame it already. I think Nick
Okay.
wrote it up pretty good here.
But now you understand it because a lot of times salespeople will just say things and they don't understand what they're saying. Like if you're really good at sales, you have complete control and understand every part of your sales call, why you say it, what you said, how you said it, every aspect of it. Like I could tell you from the beginning to the end of each of a sales call. And if you ever gotten to really let me like review and preview with me a sales call, I can tell you every aspect of a sales call, why I said it, what I said, where I said it, like all of that. So it's important that you understand what you're doing there.
Yeah. Well, I would say something along the lines of this, once I get through, you branch of military and thanking you for that, confirming your date of birth.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, great. Now, Cam, just to make sure we're on the same page here, most of the veterans I'm talking to are just trying to make sure that the final expenses, cremation, burial, services, and whatnot don't fall burden on the person left behind in
Mm-hmm.
case Valerie or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what we're trying to do here? Or are we trying to set up something else?
Yeah, I mean it's the same idea. It's like you're getting permission to proceed while also framing it so that like you're putting like giving context to what the conversation is going to be, but also using social proof. Okay.
and definitely asking someone if you, would you be opposed to instead of asking permission because people's brains are definitely wired to say no. So getting them to kind of turn around and have to say yes. Um,
Well, you get them to say no through a yes.
yes.
70% of what your parents
Yeah.
say, you know what? You know what the science behind that is? 70% of what your parents tell you, like if you ask your parents a question growing up, do you know what 70% of the time they're going to say is no? We hear no like literally 4 to 5
Mhm.
times more than we hear the word yes. So we're wired to say no. So why not just use it, right? So,
Yeah,
and it's
exactly.
like kind of like the word sound fair. Like no one's gonna say no to sound fair. It's like yeah, fair. It's like a middle ground. It's like